Hello everyone, good morning. So today you are going to start with science and technology class, right? So I am Neeraj Nachiketa, faculty of science and technology, and I teach environment ecology as well, right? So I've been part of Vision IS for a long time, and I don't know how many of you know me or not, but I've been into this field for a long time, like I think it's almost more than 15 years teaching this subject. So in Vision IS has a very well formatted structure. You have different faculties dealing with different topics, right? You have classes for basic science where you have biology class, at the same time general science topics like physics and chemistry, you deal with that. Then in the basic science class, in your biology class you have health and biotechnology. You deal with two important topics, health and biotechnology, right? In my classes, whatever I teach in Vision IAS, I will deal with topics other than biotechnology and health, right? Vision IAS also provides you monthly current affairs magazine, and you have classes for that. So the current affairs class on science and technology based on monthly update, you are getting regularly, right? At the same time, you will also have PT 365 before the prelims exam and mains 365 before main examination, which also cover the different dynamic areas of science and technology which are relevant for the UPSC examination. Since all of you are gearing up for the preparation of the examination, and many of you will be appearing in the examination on 27th June, so science and technology becomes a very important topic. I don't have to emphasize there. You all are aware of that. You have gone through many orientation session and everything. There are almost around 15 questions in multiple choice form, objective questions asked in prelims exam, right? Main examination you will find 3 or 4 questions on science and technology. Science and technology questions are not completely science and technology, right? Based on scientific principles or application, right? But they are connected with other areas of general studies. You can relate science and technology to every walk of life, right? Whether you take into day-to-day life application, what we use as a mobile phone, smartphone, laptop, or vehicles, energy system, these all are what human lives are touched upon, where the science and technology comes into that. Science and technology has become an integral component of governance. Since you all are preparing to become civil servants of the country, so technology is now transforming the way the country is getting governed, particularly information communication technology, ICT. And not only ICT, there are other areas of technological domains, right, which become very, very important from administration point of view. That's why the UPSC syllabus has been designed in such a way, questions asked in the exams are like that, where it talks from the application point of view. And it's connected with the civil service which you are aspiring for, right? So since today is the first class, so I will do the warm-up. That means you must be aware what is the need of the exam, what is basically required for the preparation of science and technology. And then we will start the respective topics one by one, right? So I will just in very small summarized form I'll put across there. So when we take science and technology, so you have here 4 components. The first component comes here. You should be aware of the basic concepts and fundamentals, right? Whether it is a space science and technology, or let's say defense technology, or let's say, for example, health, biotechnology, right? Different areas of science and technology, you must be aware of the basic fundamental principles, theories and concepts. That is the first requirement. Second part which comes here, how do we put these concepts into application part? Let's say, for example, nowadays a very important area which has now entered into market and is going to grow very fast in coming years, AI, artificial intelligence, right? In mobile phone, in the devices like laptop, computers, right? Even the home-based appliances are now getting designed based on AI system there, right? AI is now becoming an integral part of that. Let's say smartphone or smart home, right? So how does a new technology, which is now going to be part of human application, right? UPSC asks questions on that. 3D printer, three-dimensional printing, additive manufacturing, which is called AM, additive manufacturing. Right? Today we have printer technology which is two-dimensional. But now in future, there will be more and more use of 3D printer. Right? Maglev, bullet train, magnetic levitation or bullet train. Now in future, Hyperloop. Right? Elon Musk, you know that, the person who has one company called SpaceX, right? Has developed Falcon 9 heavy rocket as a kind of manned vehicle. At the same time, there's another company called Tesla, and they are developing Hyperloop technology for the rapid mass transport technology there, right? In terms of transport there. Solar technology, wind power, right? Biomass power. So there are a lot of areas are there which are put into application part. So what comes the next part is the application part. This is the very, very important part. How do we put concepts into application? This becomes an important part of the questions in the examination. You'll find in the multiple choice question, the one part will be fundamental, second part of the question will be on the application part. Now what becomes very important, that is in terms of current developments. You have to relate science and technology with the current developments. Whatever the current development is there, worldwide, including India, you must be knowing from the global level, at the same time in the national level there, what are the developments are there. Let's say ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, right? DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization, right? Then BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center. All those scientific organizations which work with different departments and ministries, right? And whatever our scientists are working to develop latest technologies, the cutting edge technologies, right? We must focus on that. So there comes, you have to put across every aspect, like whatever you read in the newspapers, like let's say the Hindu is one you are regularly follow there, right? So whatever comes in newspapers, magazines, journals, right? All those kind of areas which are regularly you read in the current aspect. TV, even television, you will come across the certain new technologies and their application part, right? At the same time, what I said, you have to link with the government part of it. Some various initiatives in terms of schemes, programs, policies, you have to connect with that, right? So this becomes the four parts which you have to prepare for the UPSC prelims exam, right? And I said here that in prelims exam, if you take the question there, prelims exam, around 12 to 15 questions you will find in the prelims exam. And in the mains exam, you'll get something around here, 3 questions, right, on subjective descriptive type question there, right? Sources to follow, if you take what sources you need to follow there. So sources, if you refer here, so first source is that classroom, whatever I'll teach in the classroom there. So your classroom, that is the first one, whatever the teacher is teaching there. Let's say whatever topic I will start in today's class, right? And respective classes, whatever we are going to learn. So classroom teaching becomes very important, and whatever contents will be discussed in the classroom, that becomes very important. Second, what comes here, the current affairs. So you have to follow this Vision IAS monthly magazine there. You have a monthly magazine, current affairs magazine there. You are getting separate classes for this monthly magazine. Then later on, we'll get PT 365, Mains 365, the compilation of the current affairs. You have to follow for that, right? Then comes here what? If you want to follow some kind of a standard textbook, right? If you want to go for some standard textbook to read and revise and all. So there are a number of books in the market. It's again up to you which book you want to read. But most of the books are very bulky. You'll find in science and technology, bulky, voluminous books are there, right? and there's no need to read, thousands of pages. I believe that there's no need to read thousands of pages for, you should know the basic concept and the application part, right? So if you want to follow any aspect of the part, then you can just take any book, whichever comes in the market, you can use that. Let's say standard reference books here, whichever you are comfortable, and if you have already with you any kind of a book to refer, right, on science and technology, you can follow that. Whichever book and material you have to then follow that, right? I can give you reference. One is that Oakbridge. There's a science and technology book by the Oakbridge publication. So you can follow this particular book there, right? Science and technology book there. You can follow from there. At the same time, websites. There are various websites are there. I will be referring to various websites, like for example, ISRO, right? Then, as I mentioned, that for defense development, you can go to DRDO website, right? So those kind of scientific organization websites. PIB, Press Information Bureau, right? Then you know that a very important source, Rajya Sabha TV, RSTV, right? So all those kind of important, which you come across newspaper, important international or national level organizations, and their home page. You have to follow that. You have to read those kind of news and articles on that, right? So I have just given you first the brief overview, what you require for that. Now what I will teach in the classroom, my topics in the classroom. So the topics which I will start and discuss in the classroom, except biotechnology and health and basic science. You have a basic science separate class where you have biology and everything. There you cover biotechnology, health aspect, that is a separate domain there. I will be teaching here one topic which we'll be covering in the classroom is the science tech development. We'll be discussing about science and tech development in India. Right, with this context, we will also cover about science tech policies. What are the policies are there in the country. Then we will discuss about Indian scientists, prominent Indian scientists and their contribution to the field of science and technology, and main examination, right? There have already been questions asked in that, like Professor Satyendra Nath Bose, right? S.N. Bose, right? Who is known to be credited with Bose equation. And there comes another great scientist, Albert Einstein, right? Who worked on the Bose concept and developed Bose-Einstein statistics, right? This was asked in UPSC mains examination. Okay, what are the impact of Bose-Einstein statistics, right, on the subject of this in the field of science and technology, and the contribution of Satyendra Nath Bose, S.N. Bose, right? The man who knew infinity, Ramanujan, the great mathematician of the country, right? There was a movie made on the life of Ramanujan. Dev Patel, the actor who played the role in Slumdog Millionaire, right? He played the role of Ramanujan, right, in a movie named The Man Who Knew Infinity. UPSC asked the question in the prelims exam from current aspect. Okay, who is being referred to there, right? So that is a prelims question I'm talking about. But main exam, Satyendra Nath Bose, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, right, who is called father of Indian Green Revolution. And 15th September, we celebrate Engineers Day in the country in honor of M. Visvesvaraya, who is known to have the hydropower project, control of the flood, irrigation technology, right? And Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, for the Green Revolution in the country. The UPSC asked the question on that. But there are other people also there, founding fathers, like Dr. Vikram Ambalal Sarabhai. He is the founding father of space science and technology in India, ISRO and DOS and all this, right? Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, missile man of India, right? In terms of Agni project and the part of integrated guided missile program, right? Then Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha, in terms of the nuclear program in the country. So all those eminent scientists, right? They are important for their contributions. They are important from the mains exam point of view, right, where the UPSC can ask question there. Then comes for indigenization. You have a topic here, indigenization of technologies. Now where you find all these topics mentioned there, it is mentioned in the GS3. When you look at the part of General Studies 3, right, GS3 paper of a main examination, You have the mention of science tech development in India, right? Policies, what has not been given? Policies and programs, you'll not find. Indigenization of technology is given. Contributions of eminent Indians are given there, right? Science tech policies I have added from my own side there, right? Apart from that, we have to see the development. Various type of development in the field of science and technology. Let's say space, right? IT, computing, right? You have to learn about biotechnology, nanotechnology, robotics. So UPSC has already asked such areas, right, in the main examination. There is a development in nuclear science and technology in India, right? We have 3 stages nuclear power program in the country, where we have built indigenous reactors for power generation. India is now using uranium-based reactor, pressurized heavy water reactor, and now we are going to the fast breeder reactor, FBR. UPSC had asked question over that. Okay, what are advantages of FBR, fast breeder reactor, right? Second stage of India's nuclear power program. And in future, we'll be going to the third stage, thorium-based reactor, AHWR, right? Advanced heavy water reactor built by BARC. So there are a lot of areas are there where the development part can be the part of the question in the examination, right? So we will be covering those areas. So what topics I am going to cover, right? My topics here, I will be discussing about space, right? I'll be discussing about defense. We'll see the nuclear energy there. Then we'll see about renewable forms of energy. Renewable forms of energy is again very important from environment ecology point of view. Right? Ecology and environment, renewable energy becomes very important. Solar power, wind power, biomass power, right? Tidal power, all this comes into, they're connected with the environmental aspect also. Greenhouse gases, how we minimize the fossil fuel dependent power generation. They're also connected with the economy, Indian economy, right? I will discuss from the science and technology point of view. So renewable energy. Then comes here another very important topic which we'll cover in the classroom. That is in terms of new technology, nanotechnology, right? Robotics, AI, right? Laser, superconductivity, all these new technologies. ICT, advanced computing, supercomputer. Now you know that CDAC, Center for Development Advanced Computer. Pune has a very important Center for Development Advanced Computing. CDAC under Department of Electronics and Information Technology. And Param-based supercomputers, right? We have been working to develop from 1990 onward. Then now comes for quantum computation. Like Google company has developed quantum supremacy. Our neighbor, China, right? Their scientists have achieved quantum supremacy. So what is quantum supremacy? What is quantum computing? Right? What is going to be the future use of quantum computers? Right? How we can secure the network through quantum communication? We will cover those kind of areas, right? From computing part of it. So I will be covering all this area. You have also one area, IPR. You have also a topic here, IPR. Intellectual property rights issues there, linked with technology, right? IPR issues linked with technology. So I will be dealing with various areas there. So what is very important here is that when you talk about science and technology, you have 2 aspects. One is the static part from the syllabus point of view, and the other is the dynamic part. You have to connect with the part of the current aspect and some in terms of government development and all this. You have to mix them together, right? Only merely reading the textbook will not suffice, right? Only having bookish knowledge will not suffice. But there are candidates, right? I will now put across very straightforward to all of you that I have found that there are many candidates who neglect science and technology, and they just simply read current affairs. Current affair is a very important part from science and technology. But it does not mean that current affairs without the basic concept. You have to combine them together. That's why Vision IAS, right? Whenever you will go through the Vision IAS monthly magazine, PT 365, Main 65, you have box. First you get why in news, right? In the material you get why in the news. Why that particular article has come in the news. Then you get a box telling you very comprehensively, point-wise, about the basic concept, right? So you have to combine the basic concept with the application plus current affairs. That's what the Vision IAS as a platform is trying to provide you in terms of having your preparation for the UPSC examination, right? So you need to go through the previous year question paper. Just to always visit the previous year question papers, both prelims exam and the main exam. Just review from 2011 till 2020 question papers, right? You'll get an idea okay, what type of questions are being asked, what is the standard of the question, what is the nature of the question, right? And then you have to combine with the part of the, solving the question, practice, test series. You have mini test, right? Vision IAS provides you the mini test and test series program, right? Plus the writing part. So in the login page, you all know that you have assignment, self-test question, right? Every class after whichever subject teacher is there, whether history, polity, geography, economy, provides you at the end of the class self-test question. You get the assignment question. So assignment question in terms of writing part. You must develop that habit of writing the part of, right? So it will make you a full preparation for the UPSC examination, right? So now certain aspect I would like to bring about here, that is if you have to go through websites now, right? So let me take you to certain websites. You will see in your screen here. So let me just add here. Let's say for example ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, right? Let me give you certain important input from there. We will be covering in the classroom there. Now if you take here ISRO, now this is the website of ISRO, right? You have everything here. If you go to the website, you get everything here, right? If you can follow the ISRO website, you have everything given from satellites or spacecraft, launchers like launch vehicles, rockets and launch vehicles, different satellites launched by ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, you'll find that. Like for example here, see, mission. Now recently what has happened, PSLV C-51, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, right? Our most dependent space workhorse, right? PSLV C-51 has successfully launched the Amazonia 1, Brazil, South American country, Brazil satellite, Amazonia 1, right? And 20 co-passenger satellite. Today, India has entered into the space market, right? We are launching the foreign satellites of other countries by our own PSLV and GSLV. And now since it is making a headline, PSLV C-51, you have to be aware of that. PSLV C-50, CMS-01, right? And you know the launch pad, Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota, Pulicat Lake, right? Then you have PSLV C-49, EOS-1, right? For the international customer satellites and all. So you get all the highlights which have been there for the last 1 year from the current aspect of the space technology there, right? So you can go to this part of and try to see the areas there. Same way, if you take, for example, if I take you to the another one here, let's say BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, right? You have all dedicated website, right? There's no dearth of material. How you make use of content, that is very important. What is relevant, what is not relevant, that is very important. There are a lot of things there, humongous, voluminous content is there. How do you filter out, right? What is required from UPSC examination, that becomes a very key area. So let's say BARC site, if you go to Bhabha Atomic Research Center, right? Now BARC site here, now you can see here, new plant varieties, right? New type of instruments which can be used in medical science, like nuclear medicine, right? Nuclear agriculture. How we can use nuclear science and technology in fields of agriculture, medical science, industry, environment and water, astronomy, in defense. Our scientists have been working to develop such technologies. You'll find those glimpses in the website. Like here, for example, radiation monitoring watch developed at BARC. Right? You have this one. And you have all those, like, see here, Taap Darshak, Flora at BARC, right? This and 100 kilowatt, 35 kilowatt electron beam which have been developed, accelerators, right? So this is the website of the BARC there. Then as you know, the PIB. How do you use the PIB? Let's say, for example, there's every year after December or end of the December, PIB, Press Information Bureau, comes out with a year-end review. I'll just take you to the one. Year-end review. Let's say year-end review of Department of Science and Technology. The nodal department which deals with science tech policies, programs, right? Department of Science and Technology, DST. Right? What are the achievement over the last 1 year? You'll find in the PIB website. Now here this one year-end achievement of Ministry of Science and Technology, within which you have a Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, and DSIR, Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, under which CSIR works, Council of Scientific Industrial Research. Right? Now you can see here, Indian Science Congress 2019 held in Jalandhar, Punjab there, right? DNA Technology Use and Application Regulation Bill 2019 passed in the Lok Sabha. Then MOU signed for Inter-Ministerial Cooperation for Promotion and Facilitation of Agri-Biotechnology Research and Education. You have all those development here, see. Clean Energy Mission, right? Antimicrobial Resistance, AMR. And UPSC is asking question, from where UPSC is picking up the area, right? UPSC is asking questions what comes in the news, what comes in current aspect, what comes in the PIB website, right? Here you have this one, see, all is given there. Or let's say, for example, if I have to know, let's say, Department of Atomic Energy, DAE, right? Bhabha Atomic Research Center works under Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Atomic Energy, DAE. Now you will have here, see here in review, whatever our scientists have developed over the last 1 year, you will find here, see here. Nuclear power program, different nuclear parks in the country. Kaiga Atomic Power Station, where it is located? Karnataka, state of Karnataka, Kaiga. So you have this continuous operation of reactor there. Tarapur Atomic Power Station, Mumbai, right, Maharashtra. Then 22 reactors with 6780 megawatt installed capacity, nuclear power program, right? Then you can find here medicine, healthcare. Tata Memorial Center in Mumbai has a cancer hospital. You get the data there. So you have such important information given there, right? If you visit the PIB site, you'll also find one important link. Let me just take you to that part of it here. I'll just take you one important link here. When you visit the PIB site, right, you have all the press releases, so it will be difficult for you to filter out, right? It will be difficult for you to filter out. But let's look at here. You have here this one. Fact check, right? Economic survey, union budget and all is given there. And you'll find here this one. Gallery. When you go to gallery, you have e-booklets, e-books, right? You have e-booklets or e-book. Now you can see here. So whatever the part of the things you'll find here, right? From the PMO office and all, you'll find that. Let's say, for example, if I take 2020, right, you'll find here Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is a government scheme, right, national scheme going on there. And you'll find that whatever the government programs have been brought about, you'll find there is this one, right? These all government schemes are given here, right? The compliance and all this economic part, the science and technology part, you'll also find that if there's some, because science and technology can help in having self-reliance, right? So you get all those information in PIB as you all are aware of that. Let's say, for example, 2019, right? Now, or let's say if I go 2018, you can see all those ones. Like for example, here, I'll just give you this part of it. Here, 4 years of, let's say, 3 eventful years of Niti Aayog. You know, Niti Aayog also comes out with roadmap in terms of implementation of technologies, whether it is AI or big data, right? Cyber physical system, CPS, or quantum computing in the country, blockchain technology, blockchain, right? Right. So all these are making headlines, right? And UPSC is asking question on blockchain. Question has been asked, AI question has been asked, drone, unmanned aerial vehicle, their question has been asked. So there are a lot of areas are there. It's not a single one standalone area. There are so many topics are there which you all are getting exposed to that. So that's what I said, what is relevant and what is not relevant. How do you filter it out, right? So whenever you read a topic, you have to first ask, what is the underlying principle? What is the, on what fundamental concept it works? Then second question comes, where we are going to apply that concept or the technology, that product and process, right? You have to ask that question. And then you have to ask, what government programs are there? What government schemes are there? Right, which focus on such kind of development, right? This is how you have to go across there. I will be helping you out, don't worry. As the time progress, I will help you out, right? I will help you out in terms of getting to the right concept, getting to the right, understanding there. So you don't have to worry about, right? It is very important that in the beginning of the class, a teacher must let you know that what exactly is required from the subject. What does the syllabus consist of? How you have to go about it, right? We are going to learn everything one by one. We will be covering every aspect of that, right? Any doubt, anything you want to ask? This overview what I gave, anything you have to, you want to clarify, you want to ask anything, right? You are free to do that. You don't have to worry, right? I'm a very approachable person and you are always free, right? So if you have any aspect which you want to clarify regarding the syllabus or references or any type of preparation part, you are free to ask me. Is all clear there? Then I can start the syllabus part, right? Okay, Divya Chaudhary is asking me a question. Is it Divya or Divya, right? Class notes and monthly magazine is sufficient without the book? Yes, you can go about that. I have said textbook is only for reference, right? Textbook is only for your reference, right? Class notes will be very comprehensive. Whatever I'll work on and my way of teaching is very different. Let me tell you that. I use a lot of whiteboard space. I'll be using a lot of whiteboard. You will be getting a handout. I will be providing you certain handout topic, not all topics, some important topics. Nanotechnology, robotics, ICT, computing. I'll give you the handout on that, right? But those fundamental concepts, I will be using whiteboard, right? I am a person who use a lot of whiteboards for teaching program. And whatever I'll write on the whiteboard, right, you shall copy it down in your note copy, right? So whatever I'm teaching on the whiteboard, whatever I'll discuss in the classroom, you go along with me, keep on writing in your note copy. That will become a comprehensive, quick revision class notes. You can revise before the exam, right? Textbook I have just mentioned, if you have, right, anything to more clarify, you want to clarify more, you want to know more, then in that context you can go for the textbook. Otherwise, current affairs, like here, this Vision IS monthly magazine PT 65, Main 65, and whatever you are learning in basic science class, whatever I am going to teach you, that will be sufficient. All right. Okay, Neha is asking another question. Should we read any NCERT books also? Neha, NCERT books are on basic science, right? What biology, chemistry, physics and all those basic science, there you require the NCERT textbook, right? For science and technology, like space, defense, right, all these topics there, ICT, computing, nanotechnology, robotics, all those areas, NCERT doesn't deal with that, right? But now recently, I think NCERT has come out with a biotechnology book there, but that will be separate thing. But you'll not find that, right? Most of the topics which are being asked in the exams are all from dynamic areas, current related topics, right? Basic science questions are interlinked with the technological aspect of that. right? Basic science area will be interconnected in terms of fundamental understanding with the technological question there, right? Whichever I will teach in the classroom there, all right? So you'll not find in NCERT book. You have to go to any publication house book, textbooks and all this, right? Or you can follow the class, whatever I'm teaching in the classroom there, right? Is it clear, Neha? Neha and Arnav. Arnav has asked the question. Are standard books indispensable if one follows class? That's what I said, that if you follow the class, it's up to you, right? If you can follow the class and go through the topics, is sufficient there. Books are only for references. Like you know that you have been reading, following the books of NCERT or other books for other subjects like geography or history, art and culture, polity, for a standard reference there, right? Therefore, standard reference you are following that. But my purpose is that whatever topics I am dealing in the classroom there, if you are thorough with those topics and can connect with the current aspect, is sufficient, right? Any more question? So, one more thing is that since I will be using whiteboard, so after I am done with the writing part, please do copy that, right? I'll give you time to copy whatever I write on the whiteboard, right? Don't be just silent spectator, just watching the class, right? You must copy down also there. Okay, anyway, I've got the 3 questions there which I have replied here. Now let's look at here. We will start the topic in today's class because we have to go through the syllabus there, and there are a lot of things to be covered in the syllabus. So we'll start in today's class. Our first half of the discussion will be from mains exam perspective, that is through the science and technology development in India. We'll first go to the science and technology development part. All right. So let us now start with a very simple topic. Then we'll go to the advanced topic. So I'll give you today an eagle's view of science and technology development in the country with infrastructure, right? Then as we go into respective topic of space science and technology or defense or nuclear, we will go into elaboration. We'll go into more detailed part of it, right? And I'll be connecting with current aspect. There will be a lot of current aspect linked with the topics there, right? And I believe science and technology is a very interesting area, right? If you read in a proper way, it serves a lot of purpose there, right? So whether students come from non-science background, humanities background or a commerce background, right, whichever background you have, right, you must have scientific temperament, right? As a aspiring civil servant of the country, you must have scientific bent of mind. That means temperament should be there. Whether you are an engineer or not, or a doctor or not, or science coming from science background or not, it doesn't matter. As an administrator, you have scientific temperament, right? That's what UPSC is trying to check in the examination in terms of the questions which are being asked, right? And please don't take this subject lightly, right? I know there are students who are from, who are engineers, and I'll tell you, engineers, they make more blunders. Very clearly, I'm telling you in today's class that it is the people who come from science background and engineering background, they make maximum mistakes in the topic of science and technology. Right? So don't be overconfident. So one thing is that you don't be overconfident. Those who come from science and engineering background, right, studied BTech or MTech or have done somewhere, the UPSC science and technology is very different, right? You should not take it lightly. So it is for level playing field for everyone, right? And I will guide you through the process. All right. So let us start from the topic here. So I'll go through the topic one by one. So let us first start with the science tech development here. Right, we'll start with the science tech development in India there. ये प्रोजेक्टर बंद कर दीजिए. So if you see the development in India, and if we review our past, ancient times, then medieval times, there have been various developments in the field of science and technology. Right? When we review scientific development in the country, right? We have a testimony. We have even present time those kind of evidence which suggests that Indians, in the past, worked in different areas of science and technology. So let's say in ancient times, if you look at one area which comes here, mathematics. In the field of mathematics, you'll come across that even in the history book. When you read NCERT books and all, you'll come across development of the society of that time. So if you take the mathematics, let's say the concept of zero, Arabic numbers, decimal system, right? Arabic numeral, right? Arabic numerals, which we use in modern times, right? It is called Arabic because in ancient times, Arab traders, right? There was a trade link between India and Arab world. And those times, Arab traders used to visit India and they got to know the method of counting, how the Indians use the counting. And through those ancient Arab traders, it went to the Middle East and from there it spread throughout the country, throughout the world. Right? It spread throughout the world. So, mathematics is one area. Then you will find another one that is in terms of metallurgy, in terms of metal craft and metallurgy. Right? You have different sculpture. You'll find different type of sculptures. Let's say Gautam Buddha or Jainism or whichever the religious movement you have read in the history book, different type of sculptures, right? Bronze, iron, copper. Then in terms of weapons, weaponry, right? Sword and all these weapons. Again, the metallurgy comes into that, right? So India has those one, and then comes another very important area, astronomy, astronomical science. Aryabhatta, Bhaskara, Varaha Mihira, right? Brahmagupta. These are the ancient astronomers, mathematicians and philosophers, right? In the field of astronomy, India has contributed, and particularly you have 4 names here. First name comes here, Aryabhatta. Right? You are aware of the name of that, right? India's first satellite has been also named Aryabhatta, right? We have also named satellite after Bhaskara, Bhaskaracharya Bhaskara. Then another one, Varaha Mihira. Brahmagupta. All these are ancient astronomers. Aryabhatta has given the theory, what is called heliocentric theory, which later part Copernicus talked about this sun being the center of the solar system and all planets going around the sun, for which the Copernicus was jailed, right? So even long way back, Aryabhatta has given that. He has written the work also, Aryabhatiya Siddhantika, right, which talks about his concept of astronomy of that time. Varaha Mihira, he was exposed to that time Western astronomy of the West, Greeks, Romans, and he has written the work on that, right? So apart from astronomy and all, what comes another area in ancient time you will find medicine. Right, medicine aspect. And you know in terms of like Ayurveda, right? You are aware of the contribution of Charak Samhita. Then ancient surgeon of the time, Sushruta. You'll find that Sushruta was able to do the cataract, the surgery for the eye surgery and cataract there. He has mentioned about different type of diseases. He is an ancient surgeon. And there is a reference of surgery of nose done by Sushruta. Charak Samhita. Another one comes from the medicinal part of it from ancient times. Apart from that, you are aware of a very important civilization, Indus Valley civilization. Indus Valley civilization in terms of Harappa civilization town planning. We find various aspects of science and technology from Harappa civilization or Indus Valley civilization. Right? They have used different, like in some desalination, getting potable drinking water. Lothal in Gujarat, ancient dockyard. There was a shipping industry also there. Metallurgical part like bronze, dancing girl, Mohenjo-daro, right? Again, the part of metallurgical aspect will come across. Agriculture, food granaries and all those storage part. We get to know about town planning, which resemble today's modern town and cities. We are talking about 2000 BC, 4000 years back, where the similar type of pattern of the town planning, what we have in modern times, that is reflected way back 4000 years back, right? Again, that is a reflection of the science and the technology from that time, right? Now, medieval times, we again see the growth not that much. The growth of science and technology in the medieval time was not that much as compared to ancient time, but there were certain development. What all developments were there? If we talk about medieval times, the first aspect development, what comes here? Astronomy. And I'll give you an example here, a very good example. You all are aware of that. Sawai Jai Singh, Maharaja Sawai Jai Singh, Jaipur of Rajasthan, built 5 astronomical observatories, which we call Jantar Mantar. Right? 5 Jantar Mantars were built, and you are aware of the location. One is Jaipur, Rajasthan. Second is Delhi. Then comes Ujjain, that is in MP. Then Varanasi and Mathura in UP. These were built as an observatory by Sawai Jai Singh. Maharaja Sawai Jai Singh, he built this astronomical observatories, which are even today as a relic. Right? So we are talking about medieval times, Rajputs, right? That time there. Then you know that from medicine, again, there were, in terms of medical science and medicine, we will also find that medieval times we also saw in terms of a very well structured development of transport system there. Like you know that, Shesha Suri, on which you have the name GT Road, Grand Trunk Road. Mughals, right? Mughals, they built the mode of communication and mode of transport, right? Delhi Sultanate and all this. Then Mughals, they had this one. Then what we find here, in terms of artillery, Babur, who defeated the Ibrahim Lodi, right? First battle of Panipat, in terms of use of cannon, right? Cannon and the artillery part of it. So rulers of those time, whether it's the Mughals or Rajputs or whichever the dynasties were there. So artillery becomes a very, very important part in terms of the warfare, right? So artillery you will find there. Then you will also find in terms of the agriculture development, like for example, irrigation and agriculture development here, right? You will find from the Mughal time, Delhi Sultanate, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, right, known for the part of development in terms of Delhi and around area there, right? So there have been development in medieval times also. There are different rulers, they have developed that, right? So there have been development. But if you take context of modern times, right? When the Europeans came, see modern times what you find, slowly the arrival of Europeans, the Dutch, French, English, right, Britishers, right, Portuguese, they all arrived to India, right? Now you know that a person who comes in the news, Tipu Sultan, Srirangapatnam, Mysore and Srirangapatnam, Hyder Ali's son Tipu Sultan, the sword of Tipu Sultan, sword. Now scientists says that the sword is made up of nanomaterials. It's a lightweight and the strong sword which he made. Tipu Sultan is also credited with the rocket as a part of warfare. And the artifact of the rocket has been kept in the museum. You can say Tipu Sultan was the ruler who came out with this concept of rocket, which today we have missile, the missile system of that. Today's missile system based on that part. So what we can do is that modern times we can divide into two components. First is pre-independence, before independence. And second, after independence, post-independence. See why I have started this topic in the classroom, because since you have already covered history and all this, history, culture and all these classes have been done. So you will be able to admire, appreciate, right, this scientific and technological aspect linked with the historical development. That's what I said in the classroom, that science and technology is a topic which is linked with every area of general studies, whether talk about history or geography or polity, economy, every area. And I will be connecting those points, don't worry. I will be going to all such kind of connection. So today I am talking in terms of history and cultural aspect linked with science and technology. Now here, before independence, right, during the time of Europeans, printing press technology. Who brought the printing press technology? Not the Britishers. Britishers didn't bring the printing press technology to India. It was Portuguese who got the printing press technology there. And you know, number of journals, newspapers and all which were published during the national movement, India's fight for freedom. So that role of the printing press technology came there. Then Britishers brought, you know, the railways. Today, the railway what we have, Ministry of Railway and the railway, the entire network of the railways, right? Britishers brought the railway to India, locomotives and railway to India. What was their interest? You have read in history. The interest of Britishers were to take the raw materials from hinterland to the port and harbour. And through Kolkata and Chennai and all those ports to the UK, Manchester. Make the finished good and again by sea coming back to the port and harbour of India and then through railway into the interior market of India. In the history you have read, that destroyed the Indian industry. You have read about this grand old man of India, Dadabhai Naoroji's drain of wealth theory, right? But railway proved to be a boon for Indians in terms of bringing the Indians closer and also helping in the freedom movement, right? Railway became a part of it. Same way, the printing press technology also. Railways then, post and telegraph. Post and telegraph, post offices. Today, India Post, right, is a legacy of the British time. Railway is the legacy of British time, right? There was earlier telegraph, but now, you know, modern ICT, modern information communication technology, satellite communication and all this what we are using there, wireless communication like mobile phone and all, has made all this older technology redundant, like telegraph is now no more, Morse code or something of that. But India Post survived. Rural backbone, right? Backbone of rural area, we have India Post. And India Post work like a bank in terms of, deposit of money, remittances of the then all those kind of savings schemes and all this. Post office becomes a very important, right? Then in terms of census, Britishers brought a census part of it, population enumeration, data, statistics. There's an area of mathematics where sampling, right, analysis of the sample, the data set, the population enumeration, census, which we have decadal 10-year census exercise there. Then Britishers also brought here a very important aspect which you all know, archaeology. Archaeological science. We have today Archaeological Survey of India, ASI, right, where to find out the past. And because of the archaeology, we were able to discover our past, right? Whether it's the Indus Valley civilization and all, they were all unearthed, right? So archaeological aspect of that. Then apart from that, if you come across Public Work Department, PWD, right? Public Work Department, Civil Engineering, Public Work Department, right? Again, they were revamped by Britishers, right? In terms of agriculture part of it. Then if you take number of organizations, there were number of organizations, like let's say, the first one which I am giving here, in terms of Survey of India, SOI. (1767), Survey of India was set up, which comes up with the map. Dedicated maps are there. Now recently, you know, it is a very, very important news. Geospatial map. Right, recently the government has made some kind of changes. But the survey part of organization part is coming from the past there. In terms of the thematic maps. Right? Then comes here Botanical Survey of India, in terms of botanical aspect there. The plant, the floral diversity of the country. Botanical Survey of India, BSI. 1860, it was, BSI was set up there. Right? Then Zoological Survey of India, ZSI, 1960. All those organizations were set up. Then one very important organization which I would like to add here, CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, 1942. At that time, Second World War was going on. And Britishers required support of Indian at that time and industrialists in terms of fighting the war. So industrialists of India, European industrialists, European scientists and Indian scientists together came as a kind of group, which after independence became CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Today, CSIR has got hundreds of labs and works in different areas of science and technology, right? So CSIR was established in 1942. After independence, if you look at the real development after independence, then we have again the testimony of that. What a testimony here. After independence, the first comes here, strategic areas. India worked in the field of strategic areas. So we focused on nuclear technology, nuclear science and technology, Bhabha Atomic Research Center and Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha, father of Atomic Energy Program. Just after independence, 1948, India started with Atomic Energy Program, right? Then apart from that, we have defense of the country was very important. Defense technology, national security, because of the situation that India and Pakistan, right, partition, and 1962, China attacked India. So defense technology development becomes very important part of the country, right? 1974 Pokhran test, when 1974 India conducted Pokhran 1, Smiling Buddha. So in terms of having nuclear weapons there, right, which later developed there. So defense, then space technology. 1960s we also went into space science and technology. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, father of space program. And later on, 69, we had a ISRO set up. And 72, we had a DOS, Department of Space. We will go into detail part, don't worry. I am just giving you the overview now. We are now only having the overview. We will go to detailed part of each area of science and technology, right, once we have completed the entire overview. Now here, part of the strategic areas here. Now, other areas, if you look at the other part, other important areas which India went to develop. So, which all areas were there? Biotechnology, biotech, health, right? ICT, computing, like I've mentioned supercomputer like Param supercomputers, right? Then we have also gone into earth sciences, right? Meteorology and seismography, study of earthquake, weather forecast, flood, drought, disaster management, meteorological aspect, polar science, Antarctica, right? A team of scientists who went to Antarctica in 80s, and we had a Dakshin Gangotri as a set up there as a lab, which we abandoned, and later we developed MET3. And then came Bharti, South Pole, polar science, cryosphere study, right? North Pole, Arctic, we have a Himadri. So all this comes under earth science. What comes under? It comes under earth sciences there, right? So different areas, and now we are having the new areas which we are focusing. After independence, we are focusing on the new areas. Which are new areas? Like we are focusing on nanoscience and technology. We had a nano mission. Department of Science and Technology in 2007 started nano mission. Then now we are focusing on robotics and AI, artificial intelligence and robotics, big data, right? India is now focusing big data, then cyber physical system, quantum computing, all those latest area, we are now focusing on that, right? India is now working to focus on some cutting edge technology there, right? There we are now investing money into that one. After having all the base established there, we are working on that part. So we have an infrastructure. We have complete infrastructure in the country in terms of having scientific research in the country. Many labs, centers, right, have been now set up there. All right. Is it clear here? Any doubt with respect to the overview what I gave here? Anything you want to ask there? ICT stands for Information and Communication Technology. These are basically, I'm using abbreviation part of here. Anything you want to ask? Then I'll dictate something. I'll give you dictation of certain notes. First, I have gave you the overview of the part of the science tech development in the past. Anything you want to ask? Nothing? You're able to follow? No queries? All right. So what you can write there, now just write a note there. I'm dictating something, you write in a paragraph there. India has, I'm doing dictation part. India has legacy. India has legacy, Legacy. India has legacy of science and technology. India has legacy of science and technology in different fields such as mathematics, in different fields such as mathematics, comma, astronomy, comma, medicine, comma, metallurgy, etc. Right? Ancient Indian scientists, such as Aryabhatta, comma, Charak, comma, Brahmagupta, Brahmagupta, comma, Bhaskaracharya, Bhaskaracharya, comma, Nagarjuna, Nagarjuna, comma, to name a few, Nagarjuna, comma, to name a few, comma, have contributed, to name a few, comma, have contributed in various areas of science and technology. Have contributed in various areas of science and technology. Give a stop there. Although there were several developments, in ancient times, comma, the scientific ferment, FERMENT, scientific ferment slowed down, SLOWED, scientific ferment slowed down in medieval times, slowed down in medieval times, slowed down in medieval times. Give a stop there. In modern times, the science and tech infrastructure, in the modern times, the science and technology infrastructure was built after independence, comma, although there were few developments, like railways, comma, post and telegraph, comma, archaeology, etc., during the British times. Give a stop there. Scientists, British times, give a full stop. Scientists such as Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, comma, Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha, comma, Dr. Raja Ramanna, comma, C.V. Raman, C.V. Raman, right? Chandrasekhar Venkat Raman effect, scattering of light, you know that. C.V. Raman, comma, Ramanujan, comma, S. Chandrasekhar, Subramaniam Chandrasekhar, S. Chandrasekhar, comma, and others played important roles, in developing science and technology, in the country. Give full stop there. Now write the second paragraph there. Science and technology development in the country, was backed by various policies and programs. And establishment of different scientific organizations, such as scientific organizations such as ISRO, ISRO, BARC, BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization, etc., etc., after independence, etc., after independence, right? After independence, give a full stop there. The Department of Science and Technology, the Department of Science and Technology, in the bracket you write DST, the Department of Science and Technology, in bracket DST, close the bracket, give a comma there. The Department of Science and Technology, DST, give a comma there, was set up in May 1971, was set up in May 1971, 1971, was set up in May 1971 under the Ministry of Science and Technology, was set up in May 1971 under the Ministry of Science and Technology. Again give a comma, under the Ministry of Science and Technology, comma, Ministry of Science and Technology, comma, with the mandate to formulate science and technology policies, with the mandate to formulate science and technology policies and programs, comma, fund, FUND, fund various scientific programs, in the country, funds various scientific programs in the country, comma, support international research, in mega science projects, support international projects in mega science projects, comma, and coordinate with various other agencies, comma, departments and ministries, coordinate with various other agencies, comma, departments and ministries in implementing, departments and ministries in implementing scientific programs, in the country, Give a full stop there. Right? Scientific programs in the country. Give a full stop there. All right. So what I've done here is that I have given you two paragraphs. Right. And I said that Department of Science and Technology has got various type of programs and policies in terms of the implementation of the different science and technology aspect in the country there. Let's say, for example, if you get a question here, if I ask a question here, which of following mega science projects India is a partner country? Let's say you get a question like this one. What is the question here? Which of following mega science projects India is a partner country? Number 1, ITER, which stands for International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor. Number 2, LIGO, LIGO, laser, which stands for laser interference or interferometer, interference, gravitational wave observatory, which have detected the gravitational waves as given by Albert Einstein, gravitational wave observatory. Number third, LSC, Large Hadron Collider, Large Hadron Collider, LSC. And let's say I give you the choice here, one only, two only, one and three only, and 1, 2, and 3. So what will be answer here? LSC stands for Large Hadron Collider. Large Hadron, Hadron, Large Hadron Collider. So what will be answer here? This is the way UPSC can ask you question there. UPSC can set question in different forms. Let me see your response. Department of Science and Technology fund such international mega science project where Indian scientists work with those foreign collaborators. So what shall be the answer here? I have given you the full form of each of the mega science project: ITER, LIGO, LSC. Let me see how many people get the correct answer. Many of you are giving answer D or C. Right? Rahul, Tushar, Ayush have given me C as an answer. Right? There are others who have given D as an answer. Radhika is also giving C as an answer. Neha, A as an answer. Neha is saying A as an answer. Right? Ipsit is giving D as an answer. Hemant is saying D as an answer. Vedant is giving C as an answer. Kapil is saying answer A. Shivam Verma is saying A. Om Srivastav is saying B as an answer. So I am getting all the mixed one, A, B, C, D. Right? All I am getting here, right? And I know that you are all attending live classes. You have all your laptop, mobile phone. So you can all easily have Google search, right? So the correct answer is D. The correct answer is D as an answer. D for Delhi. D is the correct answer. Now, let me throw some light on that. ITER is a project, is a mega science project, which is now in south of France. Here, there's a place called Cadarache. Cadarache is in France. And here this program is based on building ITER is basically a tokamak reactor. What is the type of reactor? It's called tokamak reactor. It's a fusion reactor. Here, nuclear fusion. Today, worldwide, the power generation, nuclear power generation, is based on fission. Uranium, radioactive uranium is used as a fission based for the power generation, controlled chain reaction. Right? But now in future, we can use hydrogen. Hydrogen, you know, sun and the star, right? Where you have extremely high temperature, millions of degrees centigrade. And there, hydrogen has fused together to form helium. That is called thermonuclear. Whenever you come across the word thermonuclear, right? When the word thermonuclear comes, it indicates nuclear fusion reaction. The future, there is a promise of using hydrogen and the nuclear fusion reaction in a controlled environment, like in a reactor called tokamak reactor, which I have written here, and we can go for commercial power generation. Generation electricity. India, South Korea, Japan, USA, European countries, China, all are the member partners of ITER project. Right? So what is the objective here? The objective here is that commercial, it will go for commercial power generation, right, using hydrogen. We're using hydrogen as a fuel. Here, hydrogen will become the source of the fuel from nuclear fusion reaction. And this reactor which has been now being constructed there, right? Now, recently China has also developed a similar type of tokamak reactor called artificial sun. If you are following the current news continuously, you will be aware that China has developed artificial sun, millions of degrees centigrade achieved in a tokamak type of reactor, right? Which is very similar to this kind of project there. Now, LIGO, when you talk LIGO, this one, in terms of gravitational wave, like which was given by Albert Einstein. What did Albert Einstein say? Albert Einstein said that due to the change in the space-time, ripples in space-time fabric, it can generate a form of energy called gravitational wave. So LIGO or LIGO was in USA. This is in France. CADRAS in France, which is going on there. LIGO was in the USA. Now we are also developing Indian LIGO. We have an organization called IUCA, Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics in Pune, Maharashtra. We are now, with the collaboration of USA, also building the same type of facility in India, which was conducted LIGO in USA. Now, what is LIGO here? LIGO is basically in terms of gravitational wave, which was used laser. Here we used, what was used? Laser interference. And that found out gravitational wave generated from two collapsing black holes. You know, black hole, end of the star, super dense, where all the matter get concentrated to one point, right? The black hole there. And the collapse of two black holes, which can make changes space-time and generate this kind of gravitational waves, were picked up by LIGO, right? India was also a member of that. India is also a member of that. Indian scientists were also working with LIGO. So is true with the LSC. What is LSC? Large Hadron Collider, that is in CERN, Geneva. There is an organization called CERN in Geneva. CERN, European Center for Nuclear Research. Right? What does the CERN stands for? European Center for Nuclear Research. It has built a LSC. LSC is basically Large Hadron Collider, is basically charged particle, the charged particle accelerator is basically a charged particle accelerator, what is called cyclotron. 10 kilometer circumference, 10 kilometers circumference under the ground. Franco-Geneva border, France and Geneva border, under the ground, 10 kilometer as a kind of circumference, this LSC has been built, charged particle accelerator, which is called cyclotron, where the protons were very high energy, very high energy was given to proton particles, and they were allowed to collide. They were allowed to collide, what is called smash, collision, right? And break the proton into subatomic particles to discover a very important particle called Higgs boson particle. So it led to the discovery of here Higgs boson particle. Higgs boson particle, which is called God particle. Right, Higgs boson particle. Peter Higgs, right, Peter Higgs, who gave the concept that Higgs field. And he said there is a one type of subatomic particle, what is called boson, which is named after Dr. Satyendra Nath Bose, SN Bose, the Indian scientist Satyendra Nath Bose. The boson name comes here. So Higgs boson particle, which is found in that Higgs field. And this is a very fundamental particle which provide mass to all other particles, right? Whether electron, proton, neutron, all other particles. And it said that Big Bang, when there was a Big Bang, the origin of the universe, 13.4 billion years ago, when the universe was formed by this cataclysmic explosion called Big Bang. So the first thing which came was the Higgs boson particle. That's what is called God particle, right? That God particle, Higgs boson particle, was found out in LSC, Large Hadron Collider, and that is built in CERN, Geneva. And Indian scientists and engineers contributed in development of this LSC. And that is through the DAE, Department of Atomic Energy. So if you see here, There's a collaboration of DAE here, Department of Atomic Energy, right? Again, this LSC also Department of Atomic Energy, scientists from nuclear scientists and all. They have worked with CERN Geneva. India is a member country of CERN Geneva, right? Right, CERN Geneva there. So there India is also a member country there, right? So here the collaboration comes. Here even the gravitational wave also, that is Department of Space, DOS, and Department of Science and Technology, right? So Big Bang theory, Big Bang, right? Big Bang theory, where the origin of the universe, right? That is in terms of Higgs boson particle was found there, right? Clear here? So this is the way. See, in order to solve one question, you need to have background information of so many areas. Then only you will be able to solve the question there. All right. Now if you see here, science tech infrastructure. I am now coming to here. If you take science and technology infrastructure in the country here, so we can summarize here that we have various departments and ministries. Right, various ministries and departments. Such as here, for example, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology, Department of Space, Department of Atomic Energy, right? So all the Department of Electronics and Information Technology. So they comes under different ministries there, right? Second, what comes here in terms of infrastructure, that means we have various scientific organizations. So here the example, you know that. For space we have ISRO, for defense we have DRDO, for nuclear we have BARC, right? All these are organizations. CSIR, Council of Scientific Industrial Research, right? So they form the organization part. Apart from that, we have universities there. Various, we have academic centers, right? And universities which give the education in the field of science and technology. We have also what? Various labs and various establishments there. Let's say, for example, here, academic center universities, I can give you example here, let's say, IISc Bangalore, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, IITs, Indian Institute of Technologies, IIT is there, right? So those are centers are there. We have labs and establishment, right? Various labs are there which work in the field. Then we also have, in terms of contribution of R&D from the PSUs, we have public sector undertakings which are also involved. Like, for example, Bharat Electronics Limited, BEL, which is defense PSU, right? Then, you know, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, BHEL, BHEL, right? These are PSUs there. Then NPCIL, Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, right? Then comes here CMTI, Center for Machines Tools Institute in Mysore. So we have different PSUs. At the same time now, there have been also private R&D also there. Private sectors are also leading to research and development. Private R&D is also there. Right, various pharma companies, right? Biopharma companies in terms of Dr. Reddy's Lab, DRL, right? Ranbaxy, right? In terms of, like, you know, Bharat Biotech. Let's say, for example, private R&D and all. Let's take one example, Bharat Biotech, where the, you know, that coronavirus COVID-19 vaccine, right? Serum Institute of India, right? Which is again has made these two leading, private sector companies. They have developed the COVID-19 vaccine, right? Covishield and part of that will come from there. Then, you know, Ranbaxy, there's another private company of India in terms of drugs and this one, right? DRL and all this. Then you know that one very good Kiran Majumdar Shaw, which has got Biocon, is another company there. Tata. Tata also has research center there. Tata Memorial Center, Tata Memorial Hospital, Memorial Research Centers are there, and they do the funding there, right? So then the different areas also comes from the private R&D also there, right? There are organizations which are part of it, all right? So we have a complete infrastructure set up in the country in terms of science tech development there, right? We'll be also learning about science tech policies. I will be going to the policies in a small, we'll take a small break here. Any doubt you have? Then we'll go into the policies part. We'll discuss in the classroom policies and indigenization of technologies. Okay, what I'll do here, I'm giving you a question here. I'm giving you class assignment here. What you have to do here is that you have to frame important points here. Right, frame important points, major points, and you have to send it to the batch coordinator, or I can see on the prompter also there. The question is that why India has witnessed, not witnessed, but why India, or let me put in this way. Let me give you a statement here. What is the statement here? When we review our past, we find that there is a higher scientific ferment in ancient times than in medieval times. What is the statement here? This is your class assignment. You have to give me the important points there. When we review our past, we find that there is higher scientific ferment in ancient times than in medieval times. Comment. You have to comment on this statement. Only important point. You have to only write the important points and send it to me. So I am giving you 10 minutes time. Your break time will be 10 to 15 minutes. So I am just giving you 10 to 15 minutes time here. Let's say 15 minutes. You have a break time, including writing the answer. You just send me the points. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear here? The question is clear here. That when we review our past, we find that there is higher scientific ferment in ancient times than in medieval times. Comment. Only send me the important points. Right? So I'll give you 15 minutes break time. Right? But within the 15 minutes break time, you have to think on this question and provide me your response. I want to see your response, and I hope that you have covered history. Students, you have covered history. I hope that you have all done the history class. So you are aware of ancient times, medieval times, development of ancient times, development in the medieval times. All the batch students, they are aware of ancient and medieval history. So I don't think it will be difficult for you to provide me important points on this question. Why there is more scientific development in the ancient times than medieval times. Okay, history has not been done. No, I'm talking about history class. Your ancient history, medieval history. Okay, 12 classes. See, if you have done the 12 classes, right? Then you have certain idea, right? You have certain idea. The question is not difficult. Just try it out. Anyway, just try this question. I don't think this question is difficult. You can give a, it is a easy question. You can, I think you can solve it. Don't worry. See, your history will be done, right? Vision IS will provide you history classes. Don't worry about that. Presently, I want to just see how much you are aware of ancient medieval history. You would have read here, right? In your school days, you have read history classes. You have gone through history classes. So I think you will be able to provide me important points here, right? Okay, I got the point. Ancient medieval is not done. Your modern is done in the 12 classes. All right, not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. Don't worry about it. Just try to write the answer. Just try to write the answer. Let me see. How many of you are students coming from history background or even the non-history background? You are able to write the answer. Just try it. Not a problem there. I got the point there. You just try it out. Right? You have done modern India, but not the ancient medieval India. Not a problem there. Just try to write this answer there. So your time starts now, right? So you have to just send me the important points. Don't send me the paragraphs. I don't want the paragraphs. I only require important points there. Is it clear to everyone? Whatever you know from Indian history, please try to provide me important points on this question, what I've written on the whiteboard. All right? Just try to do it. Not a problem. See, I know that you guys are, very capable students, right? You are very, very capable. And I don't think there will be a problem in providing me important points on that. Just try it out. Right? Just try to, frame the answer and try to give the points, right? And we'll take a small break there, right? We'll return back. I have gone through your responses, right? Most of you, I think all of you have written points and you have given to the batch coordinator and the response there. You all have done well. But it requires certain, improvement on the answer part. So first of all, I'll congratulate all of you for trying out the question and sending me the reply for that. For that, clap for all of you, right? So keep it up. You have to always develop this habit of, framing an answer. If you know the habit of framing an answer and you can generate important points in your mind, it will not be difficult for you to write answer in paragraphs. I have found that many answers which have only running sentences and paragraphs and has only very few points to explain there. See, now UPSC pattern is what? Either you have to write in 150 words or 250 words, right? In the main examination, you have to write, either the question will be on answering 150 words You have to answer in 150 words. And that is what is given in the Vision IAS assignment also. Or you have to write in 250 words, right? That's what you have the main exam pattern in the UPSC, right? Civil service exam there. Now what is very important is that writing in 150 words or 250 words is very challenging task. See, if you have to write in 400 words, 500 words or 1000 words, you can write a lot of things, right? You can write a lot of things there. But when you have to write in a very restricted word limits, it is a more challenging task. So your approach for writing the answer, right? Your approach when it comes to writing the answer there, your approach has to be here that your introduction, when you start with your answer, introduction should be just 2 to 3 sentences, not more than that. Right? 2 to 3 sentences. Your introduction should not be very lengthy. Maximum 3 sentences, not more than that. Now question comes that whether in the introduction you have to repeat the things here? No. In your introduction, you have to write something related to the question. You don't have to copy the exact sentence from here. Many times I have found students, what they do, they simply copy the question and reframe it in the introduction. That is not the right way. You understand the part here. It is talking about science and technology development in the past. Many of you have given me the answer in terms of writing that there were science and technology development in the past, mathematics, metallurgy, like for example, Stambh, pillars, Ashokan, Mauryan age, Ashoka's Stambh, Qutub Minar, right, Mehrauli, Ashokan iron pillar, it is made up of iron, and you know that iron generally in outside with the water and moisture and air will rust. Now we have a testimony from the past from Mauryan age, where in the Mehrauli in New Delhi, in Qutub Minar, you have a iron pillar which is open. It doesn't come under any enclosure. It's all open. And it never rusts. There is no rusting. Right? So that shows the, you can say, articraft, that metallurgical aspect of that time. Jantar Mantar I have given the example. Charak I have mentioned about there. Right? So in your introduction, when you start with the introduction, just give brief, right, overview. You have to just give brief overview of the development. In ancient, you have to give examples there, and medieval. And if you supplement with examples, if you give the examples, well and good. Right? Now what is the question here? Comment. I have given the question comment. What do you mean by the term comment? See, question has got some kind of a key word. You have to understand the key word. Illustrate, explain, discuss, argue, comment, criticize, right? There are certain words are there. What do you mean by the term comment? When I say that, please comment. So what does that mean? You have to give your opinion. Right? Like for example, I am reading a newspaper and today morning I have read an article. And I will comment on the article. What does I will comment on the article? I will give my opinion on that article. Or let's say if I watch a television kind of a news or something on that, based on the reporting of the news in the TV, I will comment on that. Right? So what is comment here? You have to provide your opinion. That means it has to be backed with certain facts. There has to be some kind of factual, backup when you are giving comment. Comment should not be without facts, right? You have to justify yourself. When you are commenting something, when you are giving your opinion, you have to justify it. And how would you justify yourself? When you provide examples. So the body of the answer here, when you go to the body of the answer, there are different ways which you can write. But the first way, in terms of here, can be what? You can write here. The first part is that the question you can ask: why is there higher development? The first question comes here when you are writing the body of the answer. Why is there higher development in science and technology in ancient times? Most of you have given that answer here. The question should be first, you can break the body of the answer in two parts. The first part of your body of the answer, it should give the answer, why is there higher science and technology development in the ancient times? So now what you will give here? You will start the answer like this one. So you don't have to write the question. I am writing the question just to make you understand. Your answer in the body should start that. Ancient times, let me write here. The answer should be like this. The body of the answer is ancient times. You can write had higher science and technology development. Now you don't have to write paragraph. Now due to dash. Now you don't have to write the paragraph. Now you write point wise. Because you have to answer in 150 or 250 words. Now you come to the point wise. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. You give the points there. So what could be the points? Why there was a higher in ancient times? Because of education. When the science and technology flourish, when there is a education on that. And what we find there? During ancient time there was Nalanda University, right? Then you had another reference here, Takshila. Takshila University now is a part of the Pakistan, right? Then comes here Vikramshila. So these were universities were there, right? These are the universities of the ancient times. Nalanda University, Bihar, right? Vikramshila, near Bhagalpur in Bihar, right? Takshila now is the part of the Pakistan part. But there were other, also there were the universities, they were learning centers. And not only Indian students, but also foreigners used to come. In history book, you will find there's a Indian and outsider. Like for example here, you will find the name of Huan Sang, a Chinese traveler, Huan Sang. A Chinese traveler who came to India and he went to Nalanda University. And he has written an account of Nalanda University, Huan Sang. Then later on Fahen. Whenever your teacher will teach you ancient or medieval time, you will be finding reference of such travelers who came to India. Right? And Fahen and Huan Sang, particularly Huan Sang, right? He went to the Nalanda University. He has written about Nalanda University. There were libraries of the books, right? It was a higher learning center, right? So first thing, even today, what is very important here? How the science and technology flourish in modern times? Because we have higher education centers and universities. Let's take in India, we have engineering colleges, universities, medical centers. Then for science, we have big universities, Delhi University, all these universities are there, right? So there has to be learning process, right? Then comes what? Second, you have to elaborate, give the point here. When you write the answer here, it has to be to the point, but it must convey the meaning, right? The examiner who reads your answer should be very satisfied that what you are trying to convey, right? Now second could be what? When science flourishes when there is a support, right? Support to scientists. Like today's time, central government, right? Central government, various ministries, various departments, they provide the funding, right? So there were support to scientists there. And rulers of that time, right? There were rulers, right, who supported those scientists of that time, right? So you have to talk about the financial support or like whatever support, where encouragement. was given in not only in art and culture, but also in the field of science and technology, right? Then what comes here? Social framework, society. How was the society at that time? Now, if you see the modern times, sometimes we get polarized, right? We get polarized by mass media, print media, and our outcome, our outview, our outlook changes, right? Changes there. So there was also societal aspect there, right? People in the society. So what comes here? There was less rigidity in society. Society was not totally became orthodox or got trapped with orthodoxy. Karma kanda, karma kanda. What is karma kanda? Birth to the death. This all evolved later part. When you go to Vedic age, when you read in ancient history, Vedic age, right, early Vedic age and the later Vedic age, right, you'll find that how the society got evolved. Early Vedic age was more scientific. Havan, yagna. The Havan, the way the Havan Kund, where the sacrifices, yagna was performed, the shape, geometry, whether it's triangle or a square or whatever the shape of the yajna, that thing, the geometry was there. Early Vedic age, there was worship of sun, the supernatural powers, nature. There was worship of nature, right? It is very clearly given in history book. Whenever you read ancient history, you will find that there was the nature worship was there. Nature here means in terms of trees, plants, sun, star, and all those parts. And they were embodied with the personal power, right? So that's what said, that there was a less rigidity in the society and there was open thought, right? Rationalism. There was more rationalism was there. Scientists are rational people. They always use logic. They always question. Rationalism is a very important part of development of science and technology, right? Now what happened here? Society was open, right? The society was, this was not a closed society, it was open, and there were continuous interconnections with outside world. It was not taboo, right? Connections with the outside world. I have given you the understanding in the initial part of the class that there were traders who used to come to India. There were foreigners who used to come to India. Indians were going outside, right? Traveling by sea or ocean, going outside the country was not taboo. Varaha Mihira, right? Varaha Mihir, he traveled outside and he was exposed to the Western form of astronomy. Even the Islamic, this Byzantine Empire. Have you read in world history? World history, you have completed world history classes. Byzantine, B-Y-Z-A-N-T-I-N-E, Byzantine Empire. There is also Islamic astrology, Islamic astronomy. And Varaha Mihira, who wrote the book Panch Siddhantika. What is the name of the book? Panch Siddhantika. He talked about Western astronomy, right? So he traveled outside. He went outside India, where the outside traders used to come to India. So there was an interconnection with the outside world. Thoughts, open thoughts. When you mix, then you get the thoughts. So that is the reason. Then you have to ask into this one. Now what comes, first part of the body of the answer is that why there was more scientific development in ancient time. Now what comes here? Why scientific development declined in the modern times? So part 1 here, body of the answer, part 1, you have to bring about this one. Now part 2, body of the answer, your part 2. Now part 2, what question you have to ask yourself? Right, what question you have to ask yourself? Now you have to ask yourself, why there was a decline in medieval times? Right, now the question comes, why why was there decline in science and technology in medieval times? I'm just trying to make you understand how you have to write answer. Now you have to think about what were reasons, the causes which led to the fall, decline. So when you talk about decline here, so what comes in decline form? You all have written there. That's what I have, you all have written, given the points. You all have done very well. Right? You all have done very well. I'm just giving you the idea, those who are in the classroom and the silent spectator, right? And they're not writing, they're not typing and they're not sending there. So, sabka saath, sabka vikas. So I'm taking all of them together. So those who have not able to write, at least they will also get to understand how to write the answer. Right? Today is the first class, so that's what I'm trying to help you out. How you have to go ahead with that. Now let's look at here. What has to be the answer here? Now the decline. Decline in science and technology. This is just a question in your mind. You have to ask in your mind, right? Let me write. You have to ask yourself. You should always be learning this habit of asking yourself. Right? Like here, you have to ask yourself. You don't have to write there, but you have to ask yourself that why there was increase there. And then your answer should go into the paragraph form, right? And then decline in science and technology in medieval times. Now you don't have to write again paragraph. What you will write there? The reasons for that, due to dash points, because points, right? Let's say 3, 4, 5 points you can write there. Right? 3, 4, 5 points, whatever number of points come to your mind. Like here, the society was, political instability was there. Right? Frequent wars. There were frequent wars and invasions. Foreign invaders, right, they came to India. Society was not stable, right? Society was not stable, right? There was lack of stability in the society. Then what happened? Rigidity was not stable, became rigid, right? Increase in orthodoxy, like in terms of what I said here, karma kand there, orthodoxy was there, caste system. Evils started in the evils, like societal evils. Societal evils like Gupta age. When you read Gupta age is said to be golden age of history. Golden in terms of art and culture and all those ones. But society went to a very low during the Gupta age. So what do you find? Sati. Like for example, in terms of Sati was there, then widow, this and all those things were there, child marriage and all those things started there. And so that's what you find in the medieval times. You will find that bhakti movement was there. Those who have read history and you are aware of that, bhakti kal, bhakti movement, right? Sufism, right? Sufism and bhakti movement evolved in the medieval times to liberate out the society. Kabira, Kabir, all this, those who wrote and about that time. So there were reform, there was reform, societal reforms. So if you talk about here, that led to the reforms there, like reforms like bhakti movement. You will read this part of that. But again, bhakti movement, what? Bhakti, religion. Religious movement was there, Sufism, right? All these religious reforms were there, not scientific reforms. They're all reforms meant for religion point of view. Shaivites, Vaishnavites and all this, but not in terms of scientific reform. Now I'll tell you, because you all have said me that you have read world history. Now tell me what happened in world history in medieval times. Anyone in the classroom? I'm just seeing the response. What happened in the world history? There was a dark age. In the world history you have read, there was a dark age. And dark age was followed by in Europe and all world history, what you have read? Dark Age was followed by Renaissance. It was followed by Renaissance. But was there Renaissance in India? Right? Was Renaissance in India? No. India went into dark and then became darker. There was no Renaissance. Why? The Europeans came. By the time the medieval age was going to be over and the beginning of modern times, Europeans arrived. Portuguese, Britishers, French, Dutch, they all arrived. And again society went to the darker side. But what happened in Europe and during the world history? There was a Renaissance. Industrial Revolution. You know that? Industrial Revolution? Industrial Revolution, lot of scientific development happened in the West, which India didn't have, which India didn't witness. So here, there was a lack of this one. Here, what happened? Lack of any scientific reform was there. Scientific reform like Renaissance, right? In the West, there was no there, right? There was no such kind of thing there, right? Support to the scientists. Here, the rulers who used to support. Now the support was more on the political aspect, cultural aspect, societal aspect, not from to the point of science and technology. Again, lack of support, lack of rulers support to scientific investigation, to science and technology. More were building empire, consolidation of empire, right? Art and culture and those things were flourished. Temples and architecture, they were flourished. What about science and technology? You don't find. Very few, right? And how would you conclude your answer? How the conclusion has to be there? Your conclusion has to be ending with balancing. You have to balance the answer. You have to balance it. Balance the views. Whatever the views are there, you have to balance it. So how would you balance it? You will balance by saying that although, and again conclusion has to be brief. It should not be too lengthy. 2 sentences, not more than that. You should not write a lengthy conclusion. And conclusion should not be repeat of the body. Mind you, what is the thing? Your conclusion should not be a lengthy one. Maximum 2 sentences. At the same time, it should not be repetition of what you have written. Conclusion should conclude it. So what you will balance it out, what is called way forward, that is although there was decline, but there were also some form of scientific development. There was decline in medieval times, but there were certain development. So what all developments are there? I have already given you the points there. Which all developments were? Such as what? In terms of transport, right? Communication part, like in terms of Mughal did this whole communication part, Delhi Sultanate. Then here irrigation part of it, in terms of canal and all the irrigation canals were built there. Then in terms of highways, like GT road I have said there. Then Jantar Mantar, astronomical aspect, right? You have to give certain example, etc. Right? You have to conclude the answer. Right? Good. Yogendra has given that. Renaissance, Reformation, Romanticism, Industrial Revolution, all this happened. But was this happened in India? India didn't witness that. This is called model answer. I have given you the model answer. How to write an answer, you have to learn the approach to write answer. Right? This is how you have to write the answer. Right? Is it clear here? Is it clear? Are you all comfortable now? This is the way you have to write the answer. Why I have done the class exercise? I have done this class exercise just to guide you in today's class how you have to attempt the questions in the examination. What has to be the approach of writing the answer? We are going to learn a lot of topics there in the classroom, But today being the first class, I am trying to guide you in a way that later part when I give you assignment question, you are able to write properly. Clear? Dalton who gave Dalton's theory, Dalton's atomic theory, before Dalton, Kanad, Maharshi Kanad, he has talked about atomistic theory, right? Pythagoras, who gave the Pythagoras theorem, before that we had our own kind of, such kind of, has been given in the ancient scripture there. Lot of examples are there. You all are mentioning me the example. I can see Pratik's answer and all this answer, I can see that a lot of examples are there, right? So there is a difference with science and pseudoscience. What is science? Science is based on evidence, right? Proof. What is pseudoscience? Pseudoscience doesn't have any evidence, right? Whether Ravana was there or Ravana flied with the wooden khatola or something, flying saucer or something, that is a pseudoscience. That's not a science. Right? This is science. When you talk about the development, this is called science. All right? Okay, anyway, I'll now come to the part of it. You all have got the answer. So now let me come to the science tech policies there, right? I will now come to the science tech policies. See, science tech policies in India, there are 4 important policies which help in development in the country, right? In terms of science and technology here. The first one is the scientific policy resolution. Scientific policy resolution is called SPR of 1958. The first important policy which was brought in India, that was scientific policy resolution of 1958, right, which helped in development part of that time. Then second came technology policy statement, right? There was another one, technology policy statement. Now this is another important from development of science and technology. This was in 1983. Then third one came in 2003 during Dr. Manmohan Singh government at that time. It is called a science and technology policy. That was in 2003. And the fourth one, the recent one, is science, technology and innovation policy. It is called STIP. Science, Technology, Innovation Policy, STIP. This is 2013. These are 4 major policies which I have said in the classroom. Department of Science and Technology, DST, under the Ministry of Science and Technology, right? So there, policies have been brought, right? All have, now shall I remove the part there, the model answer? You all have gone through the model answer now? I'll clean the whiteboard so that I can give you the points on science tech policies there, right? So first I gave you, we have 4 important policies in the past. One is scientific policy resolution, SPR 1958. Then we had science and technology policy statement of 1983. Then science and technology policy of 2003. And now we have science and technology innovation. We have added another word called innovation. Innovation policy 2013, right? So now let me now clean the whiteboard. I'll now come to the highlights of the policies there. Now question comes that whether UPSC will ask the policies. Now you may ask me a question that, is it a need? Do we have to go through the details of such policy? No, you don't require. So the past policy is just for your background, right? As for your background information, that policy comes. But you don't have to memorize, you don't have to remember. Any question in the UPSC main examination will be based on current policy, not the past policy. Past policy only is the historical development, right? It only forms the part of historical development as part of your general awareness, right? So it is always important that a teacher who teaches the subject should give you some kind of a historical perspective and the background there, right? So that you are able to understand a particular topic. For that, it comes into the context there, right? So now let us come to that. I will give you in a flowchart form. I'll use a flowchart here. You can copy this flowchart. Kindly copy this flowchart. I will provide in the flowchart all the important points, right? I'm going to write on the flowchart here. So now let's look at here. So first one, scientific policy resolution. 1958. Now let's understand. India became independent in 1947, right? In 1947, we gained independence, and our science and technology base or infrastructure was very poor. The Britishers left the country in such a situation that we didn't have enough of resources at that point of time to go for development. So our first Prime Minister, right, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, right, there at that time thought that we need to bring about some kind of a policy guideline which can help in future development of science and technology in the country, right? So every Prime Minister of the country has in one way or another way has contributed in some areas of science and technology. See, you all are preparing for UPSC exam, civil service exam. You have to be politically neutral, right? I'm not talking about from any party politics point of view, right? I have nothing to do with any party politics. I'm just trying to give you an idea from historical perspective that you have to always, appreciate every, government and the part of the Prime Minister what has led to the development there, right? Not from a political point of view, but from the science and technology development point of view. So what I'm saying that the first Prime Minister that time, 1958, so first important highlight of this policy was that basic and applied science research, right? It focused on basic and applied science research in the country. This is the first major focus of the policy was there. Second was that education, right? Science education, like you know that after independence, we set up IITs, Indian Institute of Technologies, right? We had number of medical colleges and universities. We have number of engineering colleges, regional engineering colleges were set up, right? Various universities started teaching the science program there. So science education, that was given. Third one was, in order to go into advanced area of science and technology, what was required during that time was to provide opportunities, right? Provide opportunities to meritorious scientists so that they can work and develop for the science and technology for societal development. You'll always find all our science and technology domains, whether it's a space science or a defense or whatever, has also the societal point of view, socio-economic perspective, right? So here, what happened here is that providing opportunities here, providing opportunities to meritorious scientists of that time, right? So that they don't leave the country, right? They should not leave the country. They should not go abroad. They should remain in India and contribute to the scientific research in the country. What is something called brain gain. Brain gain rather than brain drain. Drain here means going outside. Gain means retaining in the talent in the country, right? So providing opportunities to meritorious scientists in the country. So that's what you know that Homi Jahangir Bhabha or Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, all those scientists who at that time worked in different area and developed various areas of science and technology. Fourth comes here in terms of strategic areas, nuclear, defense and space, that were the priority. So here, strategic areas research in strategic areas which are important for the national defense, security, societal security, for that strategic areas research, right? Research in nuclear, defense, space, right? Then, agriculture and all, this were all developed. Green revolution and all this part. Food security and everything comes into that. All right. Now what comes here? When India became independent, we didn't have enough of resource, right? We were dependent on foreign countries, right? And we didn't have enough of the scope or enough of the capacity to invest heavily on the R&D part. Many of the technologies were not present in India. So we needed support of the foreign countries, like Canada. Canada helped India in nuclear research program by providing a reactor, research reactor. We got a research reactor from Canada after independence, right? Based on that, our scientific research in nuclear technology developed. CANDU, CANDU, that is the name of reactor, Canadian reactor, right? We got support of Soviet Union. You know that time Cold War. You have read in world history, Cold War, that after Second World War got over, 1945, world was divided into two type of ideologies and the groups. One led by Soviets, communism, and second led by the USA, capitalist, right? India selected the non-alignment. We went for the non-alignment, that will not align to any of the bloc, either the communist or capitalist. But we will maintain the relationship with both. We'll have a relationship with both, but will not get swayed away by their ideologies. That was what India's stand was there. But I'll tell you that Soviet Union, which is now Russia, Russia, at that time Soviet Union, supported India in terms of transfer of technology. Number of important technologies for defense, like missile technology, right? Submarines, right? We got from Russia, at that time Soviet Union. Satellite, our Aryabhata, our first Indian satellite, Aryabhata, was launched not from Sriharikota. It was not launched from Sriharikota. It was launched from Baikonur Cosmodrome, that is in present day Kazakhstan. At that time it was Soviet Union. We launched there, right? So we took a lot of support from the foreign countries. France also helped India in terms of sounding rocket program and all this. But what was the thing is that we were buying. What we were doing? We were doing purchase. We were buying the technology from outside, right? Again, the development was there, but not very rapid way. We even today, even present, we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, right? We are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are talking about Make in India. We are still struggling. We are still struggling with self-reliance. Though all jargons are there, Atmanirbhar Bharat or all the jargons are there, but still we are trying to develop. We are still not at the par with that. So even that same thing happened here. So what was the next one was there? There was a turning point of India. That turning point was 1974. What was the turning event? Anyone in the classroom who can tell me what was the turning event at that time? The Pokhran 1 test, right? Pokhran 1. India conducted 1974 Smiling Buddha, the first underground nuclear weapon test, right? And what happened just after the Pokhran 1 test? After Pokhran first in 1974, India faced a lot of sanctions. There were a lot of sanctions over the country, particularly from the Western countries, right? We were not able to get critical technologies. We were not able to get critical technologies from outside because there were a lot of restrictions. Our Indian organizations were blacklisted. Our Indian scientists were denied visa for going outside for conferences. India faced that kind of a situation, right? Our industrial segment, all the import that also suffered. So what happened in this way? Technology policy statement was brought in 1983. The focus was there. The first focus was at this time was there, self-reliance. It focused on self-reliance in technologies. Today we call it Atmanirbhar, right? The same Atmanirbhar was also discussed in 1983 policy, right? So what was the word? Self-reliance in technologies. And how it can happen through that? R&D. So self-reliance in technologies through, now what I'm writing here, a very important word, indigenization of technologies. Indigenous technology development or indigenization of technologies there. Indigenization. What we did was that whatever technologies we borrowed, we bought, we purchased, we got it from outside India, whether the space science like satellite or launch vehicle, or let's say defense, missile, submarine and whatever we have got there, or in terms of nuclear technology like reactor, we started indigenization, modification of existing technology to build our own national level technology, our own technology, indigenization process. And because of this policy, India was able to create indigenous technologies in that, you can say in the past 3-4 decades, we were able to do that, right? So first was that self-reliance. We have to build the self-reliance, and that through the indigenization of technologies, right? Now what comes the second one? Second one was the new areas were focused. What were the new areas? Food security. Like after Green Revolution, 1970, there was a Green Revolution, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, right, in terms of food production. Now, in terms again, making technology which can work in food security, agriculture part, then water, energy, environment. All this in 80s became an important area. This all focus were there, right? We also focused on another very important aspect was there, employment, jobs. So there's something, this policy says that mass production technology and production by masses. What is the word comes here? Mass production technologies. Those technologies which can have bulk production, right? Voluminous production. Like you know that Hamara Bajaj, Buland Bharat ki Buland Tasveer, right? The scooter, Bajaj. Car, Maruti Suzuki, kitna deti hai? Mileage, right? Automobile sector, right? All this happened when 80s, right? 1980s. Telecom revolution, telecom sector, BSNL, MTNL, again 80s. Health, immunization, again 80s, right? Biotechnology started in 80s. Because of this particular, the policy part of it. So mass production technologies and production by masses. What is meaning of production by masses? Employment. Employment generation, right? So employment generation and all this one. Then again increasing gender, right? Gender in science. Infrastructure and gender in science. What do you mean by gender in science? More female scientists in India, women scientists. Increasing the participation of women and girls in the field of science education and in terms of becoming scientists, taking science and technology as a career, right? Gender aspect of the science, that is another part. Then what came here, with the wake up of the new millennium, when the new millennium came, right, 2001, there was millennium. So, but what happened in between here? There was another turning point of India, right? The first turning point was this one, 1974, Pokhran 1 test, where the sanctions were there and now India has to face a problem there, right? After 1971, Indo-Pak war, India-Pakistan war and liberation of Bangladesh, and then the 74 we did that. Now another Pokhran, another turning point came here. What was another turning point? So let me write here. So this led to restrictions, sanctions. Right? Now after this 83 policy, the another turning point was this one. There's something happened in 1990. You have read in Indian economy. What happened in 90s? India was forced to liberalize, privatize, globalize, LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization. So there was economic crisis, right? 1990 economic crisis. Our foreign reserve, forex, became very low. And we have to ask help from World Bank. We went to the World Bank to save us from that kind of financial crisis. The economic crisis what India faced at that time, right? Our foreign reserve went to very low. And there the role of Finance Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh comes, right? So what it led to? It led to what is called here liberalization, privatization and globalization. By this time, what was the situation in India? That all this funding was from central government. It was very centralized kind of economy, right? Now this came into the part of development in terms of bringing the private participation in research. So now comes the very important one, science and technology policy. Science and technology policy of 2003. Science and technology policy of 2003, right? Now let's look at what all the highlights of this policy was there. The first thing was that continuous of the previous one, that is in terms of research, like advanced research, like advanced R&D, right? Cutting edge research, development of new technology, consolidation of technologies by indigenization, right? So all this one became the highlight of the first, this one, science and technology policy. Second was that here, in terms of private participation, increased private participation, private sector, right, in R&D with PPP model, PPP. Then again here what comes PPP? Public-private partnership. Right, into R&D. Now what came here? There were a number of technologies which were already developed but we were not using it, that. Lab to field. What comes from lab to market? From lab to market approach. That whatever technologies are there in the laboratory, in the lab level, let this should become commercialized. Let this should go to the market. So from lab to market approach. Another thing was that in India, whatever research we were doing, we were not able to harness the IPR aspect of that, intellectual property rights, right? So creation of intellectual property rights, like through patent, trademark, all those kind of areas. Now today India is filing very high number of patents for inventions. So here IPR, intellectual property rights, right? Intellectual property, IP, right? Patent, copyright, trademark, geography indication, design right, all this comes into IPR. Now, how to increase the IPR in India? After such a long time, after this 2003 policy, after a long time, India is now having an IPR policy. Imagine that. Even after this, we didn't have a policy on IPR. We got the IPR policy later part. So here, intellectual property wealth, IP wealth generation. Like if we have more number of IPR filing in the country, more number of patents, we can license it out. That can go to the market, it can go for commercialization. And we can generate wealth, right? Wealth generation. Then entrepreneurship, startups, right? Self-reliance in critical technologies, manufacturing, all these were focus area, right? That all became, I'm just giving you the certain important points. And then comes here the latest one, that is a science technology and innovation policy. Now innovation word has been added to the policy there. 2013, STIP. Right, what the word has been added here? Innovation policy. Now what is innovation here means? What do you mean by the term innovation? Creativity, creative ideas, new ideas. Innovation can happen at grassroots level, innovation can happen at the scientific organization level. So what is the here? The first here is that to increase scientific publication, it focuses on scientific research publication in leading journals of the world like Nature, Science, right? Those kind of journals there to twice than present. Double the number of publication. More publication, more research, right? And position India into 5th rank. And position India into top 5 country of the world. In terms of scientific publication part of it. More publication indicate more research. And again, leading journal like Nature, Science, right? Second, what is that? Innovation ecosystem. To build innovation. We were doing science and technology right from 1950s. India has developed all the scientific base and infrastructure, technological base and all. We have led to indigenization of technology, various products developed. Now the question is innovation, creativity, creative idea, new novel product to build innovation ecosystem in the country. Right? How that can happen there? At every level, right? Innovation ecosystem at every level. That means right at the grassroots level, like a farmer can be innovator, a scientist can also be innovator. You have watched that movie Three Idiot. Phuntsuk Wangdu, Amir Khan, who played the role of Phuntsuk Wangdu, which was inspired from Sonam Wangchu. Who is Sonam Wangchu? He is said to be glacier man of India. He is from Ladakh. You all are aware of Sonam Wangchu. He is from Ladakh and is known as an innovator. He has won the Magsaysay Award, right? So there are number of people who are not PhD holder. They are not scientists, but they are creative. They are creative in thinking. A farmer can be a creator, right? Big companies like say Apple or Microsoft or Google, they promote innovation, new ideas, new products going to the market, right? So we have to build this innovation ecosystem in the country at all levels, every level. Right? A child can be innovator, you can be innovator. A young child in a school level, class 5, 6 standard student in the school can be an innovator, can think something out of box, can develop something new, right? Which we have not thought of it. So that is where the innovation comes here. Now what comes here, the next one is that, here, startup. To increase entrepreneurship, we should have more number of entrepreneurship, right? To increase entrepreneurship and startups. Even the risk-taking startups in the countries. And we know that we already have now Startup India program. Niti Aayog is having Atal Innovation Mission, right? Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog has come out with AIM, Atal Innovation Mission. So we are now supporting all those startups, venture and all this one. Then again here, more international, to increase international cooperation with Japan, with South Korea, with USA, with France, with different countries, Indian scientists working with foreign scientists, even with the Nobel laureates and developing, to increase international collaboration. International collaboration in leading area of research like the stem cell research or space technology or defense. We can go for to increase international collaboration, right? With foreign countries there. In more cutting edge research, we can go for that. Then again what? Public-private participation. To increase public-private participation. To increase what? Academia. More academia. Academia industry. That whatever has been developed in academic level or the lab level, there has to be more collaboration, right? So to increase academia industry collaboration, right? Whatever we have been doing in the past, at the same time we have to again go on to the new areas, innovation at every level, right? So that's what these policies are all about. You try to read by yourself also. So that's what it will help you in more understanding part. Now any question you have, इनको पूरा दिखा दीजिए. Kindly copy these all points there. I have given you the main points of all these policies. I have given you the main points of that. Any doubt with respect to this one? Science tech policies there. Okay, guys, one thing. I have to communicate to you one very important aspect. Since you have another class at 1:30, right? So there is a message for all of you. Kindly focus on this message, what I'm reading out right now. You all have to log out, right? You all have to log out from Science Tech class portal and again log in society class. Society, which class you are going to have? Society class. You all have to log out from Science Tech class from the login portal, and then you have to log in to the society class, which will start at 1:30 p.m. right? Otherwise, what will happen? Their respective queries will go under Science Tech class portal. Are you able to understand? If you don't log out from Science and Technology portal, from Science and Technology class from the portal, whatever queries you will send, it will just reach to the Science Tech coordinator there, right? So the moment I end my class of Science and Technology, you kindly please log out from the Science Tech class from the portal, and then at 1:30 after your lunch, rejoin to the society class. Which class? Society class, right? This is the message which I'm conveying from the Vision IS management team, right? So you have to, is it clear to everyone? Is it okay? Okay, you all have noted and clear there. Thank you, thanks a lot. So now this policy part which I have given here, so what I'll do here, I'll give you a question there, your homework assignment. Your homework assignment is this one. What do you mean by indigenization of technologies? What do you mean by indigenization of technologies? Right? This is the first part of the assignment question. What do you mean by indigenization of technologies? Right? Second part of the question is that discuss benefits and you have to discuss the benefits of indigenization and challenges in indigenization of technologies. Indigenization of technologies in India. You have to answer this homework assignment question. You have to answer in 150 to 200 words. It's a 10 marks question. So your homework assignment is that, what do you mean by indigenization of technologies? Discuss benefits and challenges in indigenization of technologies in India. You have to answer in 150 to 200 words, 10 marks question. I have already explained you the policies part, right? In that context, you have to write this assignment. And tomorrow's class, tomorrow we will again meet there, right? Tomorrow again, in the morning, we have got the class of Science and Technology, class number 2. There in the classroom, I will be discussing you the model answer. We will be going to this answer of this question. The question what I am giving as an assignment, we will discuss the main ideas, main points of indigenization of technologies. Clear there? Now tomorrow is going to be very important part of your class, that you will be going through space science and technology. Today I have discussed science tech development, right? Science tech policies. And also I mentioned about important Indians, right? Indian scientists. Now what I'll do there, when I'll start with each of the science and technology. Let's say when we go into detailed part of space technology, detailed part of nanotechnology, robotics, whatever areas are there, right? Whichever detailed aspect of science and technology I will discuss in the classroom, there I will also mention contribution of scientists, respective fields. Let's say when I start with space science and technology, we will discuss about ISRO, DOS, then chairman of ISRO. We're starting with Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, right? When I'll discuss about the part of defense technology, we'll discuss about scientists like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's contribution and other scientists in the defense technology, right? So each of the respective areas of science and technology, there I'll discuss about important Indian scientists' contribution. Along with that organization and the achievement, we'll see the achievements, development, right? With key concept, core concept, application part. We'll discuss everything in totality, right? So we have covered science tech development, we have covered science tech policies. Now tomorrow, based on this question, indigenization of technology, I'll discuss indigenization of technologies, right? We will also cover certain aspect of the government program there, right? And then we'll go into the topic of space science and technology. So tomorrow, after completing indigenization and science and technology programs, we will go into the topic of space technology. So tomorrow is going to be another important class on science and technology, and we will start space and astronomy, where every year in the prelims exam you get one question on that, right? So with this we'll end up the class, and keep yourself reading and study everything, right? And we will follow up in the next class there. All right. So thank you everyone. We'll meet in tomorrow's class. Thank you.